Shirley Ann George is the president and founder of the Alliance of Canadian Wine Consumers, a grassroots, nonpartisan, volunteer group of wine lovers whose goal it is to change provincial and federal laws so that Canadians can purchase and ship wine directly from Canadian wineries in other provinces. Welcome, Shirley Ann.
Thank you very much, Natalie. It's a real pleasure to be here today.
Terrific. All right, before we jump into what the issue is and the exciting news that over the past 2 weeks, tell me why you founded this group back in 2010.
Well, it started when I actually wanted to buy some wine from an out-of-province winery. I live in Ontario, and I wanted to buy some BC wine. And I was refused. I couldn't join the wine list, the wine club, and they wouldn't ship me wine back home to Ontario, which I thought was fundamentally wrong for a Canadian to be denied access to a Canadian product.
Now, most people would just get frustrated and give up. What gave you that extra push to say, I've got to form an alliance to deal with this issue?
Well, what happened was my background was in association management, and when I retired, I knew I needed something to do, and this struck me as something that was always there. People knew about it, but it never got high enough up in the list to get something done, so I decided I was going to make that happen.
Well, you certainly helped to make things happen over the last 2 weeks. We've got Bill C-311, and tell us what that changes. It's a bill that's been passed in both the House of Commons and just on Monday night, the Senate. What does it change versus what we had, say, 3 weeks ago?
Well, what this bill does is a private member's bill that's been brought in by a member of Parliament, a new member of Parliament, Dan Albus. And what this bill does is it carves out a personal exemption in the overarching law that currently makes it a criminal act for you to transport wine across a provincial boundary.
Wow, that's so. Even if I'm driving from Ottawa to Hull or Chelsea, Quebec, and I buy wine in one province or the other and take it across. 3 weeks ago, I was doing something highly illegal.
Yes, it was a criminal act and punishable by both fines and jail time.
Wow, is that a hangover from Prohibition?
That's right. The underlying law came in place in the Prohibition or post-Prohibition era, where some provinces still had Prohibition and others didn't, and they had various levels of regulation, so the federal government handed in this jurisdiction.
Wow. Okay, so with Bill C-311, now you can visit a winery, buy wine, and take it home with you on your person, so to speak. I mean, put it in the car and drive it home across provincial boundaries. Can you also go to that winery and say, oh, I love these Cabernets, can you ship 2 cases to me back home in another province?
Well, actually, we're not sure if the first part is true or not. Some of the provinces have, when they saw this bill coming in, the liquor boards put in place some ability to carry wine on your person across provincial borders. But the underlying law was not there to make that legal. And what they're saying now with the bill about to get royal assent and become law, they're saying, no, it doesn't allow you to buy or to order wine online.
Okay.
Although there are different opinions on that.
Okay, so just to sort of net it out, I know not everything's clear because we've got a federal bill and then provincial laws and then the provincial liquor boards, the actual stores that sell the wines. But today I can go to it now that Bill C-311 is passed, and if it gets the royal assent, then I can go to a winery and take it back with me. Can I do anything else? Can I ship it home, or can I call the winery?
Well, what this bill does is it just says that the federal government is providing a personal exemption within the legislation and regulations set by the province. So that's where the confusion comes in, because it's a 2-part, you have to meet the 2 tests.
Okay.
So today, according to the liquor boards, you can carry some wine on your person, but you can order nothing, and you cannot join an out-of-province wine club. And we have legal advice that is telling us that they fundamentally disagree with that interpretation, and they believe that you can buy wine over the internet and join wine clubs. So today there's confusion. hopefully in the near future there will be clarity.
And so what are you going to do with your group to advocate for that clarity? Or do we need new provincial laws? Do we need the liquor boards to publish policy changes? I mean, what needs to happen now to make it all clear so that I can go to a winery or I can call a winery in another province and get them to ship me a couple cases of wine?
Yeah, that's exactly what we want. Canadians should be able to buy Canadian wine regardless of where you live. And so what we're doing is that we are getting some legal interpretations so that there's some more clarity, at least within what you can get from legal opinions. And then we're getting our friends and our followers to write to their provincial MPP or MLA, or if you're in Quebec, the MNA, and ask them to, first of all, support the spirit of C-311, which was intended to allow Canadians to be able to bring wine or order wine for personal use, and also to bring some clarity around the question about how much and if there's any regulations around it. So there's a lot of work to be done.
And I think on your website you have all the provincial contacts of who Canadian wine lovers can contact their local representatives in each province?
Yes, exactly. On our website, which is freemygrapes.ca, there's a Take Action page where we've got sample letters and the links that you can click on to find out who your provincial representative is and their contact information so that you can mail them the letter. Okay. And we found, if I could just add, we found that when we did this at a federal level that it doesn't take thousands and thousands of letters. Just a number of people, a few hundreds of people that were interested enough to write their MPP and MLA is really going to make a difference.
So you can really make an impact on this issue, which to me is really important. It's not just for wine consumers, but it's for literally a grassroots industry, one of our key farming value-add, high-impact kind of industries across this country, both for the product it sells and the tourism it generates.
Yeah, absolutely. This goes far beyond my desire to buy more Burrowing Owl wine, for example. It's also about rural communities that are highly dependent on wine. Interestingly enough, every province has some wine. Maybe in some cases, like Newfoundland, it's fruit wine, but everybody has some wineries. And Canadian wine is not that well known because it's filled with so many small wineries, and this is going to give them an opportunity to grow and get stronger and be able to meet international competition. And as you know, there's some great Canadian wine that Canadians simply don't have access to today.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Shirley Ann. This is really helpful in understanding these issues, and I'd love to chat with you again as the issues unfold and you make more progress with this.
Well, we really appreciate your help in getting the word out, Natalie. Thank you so much.
All right, cheers.